Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 19, 20. It's one of those, you guys. Let's get to it, shall we? Guys, so this show felt like filler. Really, honestly, it was completely all filler. I felt like they was extending conversations and really just talking just to be talking. These were all conversations that didn't even really need to be had, y'all. I don't know. Anyway, it starts with Martell and his business partner and Chris Fletcher out there at the land where Martell is having his house built. This is where it started. Okay, and Martell is still going on and on about how he feel like Marsau needs to put respect on him and Melody's name because him and Melody did this, that, and the other for Scolt and blopty blue. Oh, God don't play, and I don't play either. He said that he would have a conversation with all of this with Marsau. However, he knows how Marsau is, and he just can't do the fakeness. You know, he don't want to sit and have a conversation with Marsau. He know Marsau is not going to be serious, and it's not going to go nowhere. The blatant disrespect, though, is just what Martell is talking about. Marsau needs to be checked on that. So after Martell finishes his whole long, rant, this whole diatribe about how he just so upset with Marsau and all of this, both Chris and the business partner, they just looking at Martell. They was just like, oh, okay, we didn't know that you was this mad about it. They started laughing like, nigga, we didn't know you had a whole speech for us, but okay. Now, jumping over to Kimmy, we see Kimmy, and Kimmy is at home, and she has her friend Andrea coming over. And Andrea is her girl, so they sit down in the back and they just talk, and they talk about the whole sex situation. I don't know why we keep talking about sex, Maurice and Kimmy's sex. Why do we still need to continue to talk about it? Kimmy is telling her friend, and Maurice thinks that it's in her mind. She knows that it is not. Hell, Kimmy don't even feel pretty these days. Even though people will tell her that, she's talking about how she personally feels. Her friend was just like, no, I know that it's not in your mind. And, this is her good friend, so she knows that Kimmy used to be a very sexual person. So let's try to get Kimmy back on track. All right, Kimmy, so I brought you these toys. Kimmy was like, oh, we love toys. Okay. She has Kegel balls, for example, that she pushes up in her coochie, and she holds on to them during the day. And hell, the other day, one of them fell out. All right, so she needs new shit. So, all right, let's see what you got. So, Andrea got all of these different boxes and shit, the little balls and things hanging out and all that. And Kimmy was just like, now, how you supposed to wear this? How you supposed to wear this with all this shit coming out the bottom part? Like, no, we can't do this. Anyway, thank you. It's the thought that counts. Kimmy says she gonna put her new toys with all the other toys that her and Maurice got. But then her friend was like, why don't you try to do something that makes you feel sexy? Like, why don't you do like a sexy boudoir shoot? She said, when I did mine, it was so fun and liberating, and she felt sexy. And Kimmy was like, yeah, and your husband was the one doing the photo shoot. Well, I was like, Andrea, I know you're not asking Kimmy to sit for your husband, are you? And Andrea was like, no, not my husband. But there's plenty other people out there that do boudoir shots too. So, no, I'm telling you, you should make an appointment with them. That should be cool. Maybe go to sex therapy. Kimmy says, yeah, she would love to go to sex therapy. Just kind of sit down and have a person that's not so totally biased or involved, to just give their opinion and kind of help them with some advice. So the friend was telling her that, and Kimmy says she would do that, but she doesn't know about Maurice. Like she says, and Maurice, once his mind is made up, is kind of pretty much set in that spot, But in the past, when they've talked to counselors, somebody will say something to Maurice, and all of a sudden the light bulb will go off, and like most of us women with their husbands will say, like, I've been telling the man this for years, he ain't been listening. The minute one of his friends or somebody say it, somebody else say it, all of a sudden it's this groundbreaking announcement. It's just sort of like, nigga, I've been telling you this for years. Okay, but okay, fine, whichever way you get the information. So Andrea was just like, well, yeah, that would be good. Do you think you guys can go together? Maybe you guys need to go separate because it might be kind of uncomfortable, the whole sex thing. And Kimmy agrees, like, maybe they do both need to kind of concentrate on their own and then come together as, in counseling. So, maybe that's what they will do. But you guys, I don't think Maurice and Kimmy really have problems. You know, they whatever their issues are, they are aware of them and they work on them or don't work on them or whatever. But Maurice and Kimmy are fine. Okay, so whenever she has these sit downs with her friends, I just be like, Kimmy, why are we still talking about your sex life, girl? Now, let's jump over to the Scott family, the other Scotts. So, Tisha's at home with the girls, and they're packing up their products. She says for some years, couple of years, they've been working on, you know, the girls have like hair care products and I think like nail polish and things, you know, cute little things for them. And Tisha wants to make sure she, you know, that this is going to be great for them. She was just like, look, you guys are starting on your business now. By the time you guys get to be me and your dad's age, you guys are going to have the shit like, I mean, you guys are going to be like a fucking, you know, a whole big conglomeration. All right. Now, while she's talking to the kids, Marsau comes because Marsau, you know, smartest nigga in the room. He got to make sure that this is being done right. And as soon as he gets in there, he can tell that it ain't being done right. How many orders we got? 175 orders to pack. All right. So Marsau, like I said, he's telling them what to do, but the girls are going to take a break because Marsau and Letitia need to talk and we need to get some content for this show. So bye, Dad. So the girls leave out the room. Marsau is fussing at Letitia, telling her that she not cracking the whip and everything. Oh, nigga, we just putting shit in boxes. What you want me to do, child? Anyway, Tisha said that the girls only worried about the money, so they don't even care about this business yet. Kind of like the people at the expo. So now we talking about this expo again. And she asked him how he feels about Courtney and Stormy. And he says, you know, he feels like, you know, well, she said that Stormy said that, you know, he was poking at her. And he didn't understand what poking meant. She was like poking the bear. And, you know, he was just like, listen, basically, Stormy and Courtney are disrespectful, and he's never been disrespectful. Their interaction with him is intentionally rude, and he's not that way with people. He was like, I never mentioned gender. I never said that a man or a woman needs to be the one that does this. Okay? Even though Marsau was floating the line when he said, like, I know you're not respected or valued wherever you are, when he was talking to Tiffany. I mean, Marsau definitely has them times when he makes it seem like the fact that it's a man or a woman is whether or not they're going to be successful or not. So Marsau does have that about him. And so Tisha and Stormy apparently have gone and talked again. They didn't really show us the footage. They just showed little clips, but it looks like they've come to some sort of understanding. Okay. And I think Letitia has now decided that she is going to let Marsau and Stormy either be friends or not be friends, and she won't get involved in that. Marsau says that the way he handled the situation at the expo, the way he handled it when they had the town hall, he wouldn't change a thing. He would have kept everything the way that it was. And Tisha was like, even if it cost me my relationship with the girls, because that is the problem. Marsau don't have to deal with the shit that Letitia has to after the fact. After he goes and pisses off the women, then Letitia has to deal with his fallout. Now, later on, we see Letitia, and, you know, I'm just like, are they really trying to make this show be more about the Scotts? Because I'm telling you, I don't want to look at Letitia and Marsau this much. I don't. I like Letitia, but I don't really like Marsau. And so he is going to keep me from watching the show if they continue to make them be the focal point, which looks like that's what they're doing. They are really trying to phase Mel and Martell, not necessarily off the show, but they are trying to figure out a space for them. And in the meantime, now we've got Letitia and Marsau, and they are not people that I want to see as the focus. Okay, but anyway, she's shooting a commercial for, they got an event coming up at excuse me, at Black. It's called Bet on Black. That's the name on it. So Marsau and Letitia are there, and, you know, Letitia's supposed to be kind of like the bartender, and you know, she's supposed to be sexy, she's supposed to be flirtatious. Marsau was just like, I mean, you know, let some sex appeal come out, like, loosen up, okay? And she was just like, well, you know, I'm not sassy, like, I don't be flirting, I don't know how to flirt. Tisha don't know how to flirt. Anyways, you know, they want this commercial to be big timey. You know, Marsau is like, this is going to be a big event. Letitia's like, all the who's who that's in Huntsville, we're going to invite them on down. It's for a great cause. So they got this program called Every Child Deserves a Place deserves a place to call home or to live or some shit, you guys. And yes, I guess they're going to be providing funding for kids to have a home. I was just like, so how does this work? Because these kids have to have a parent. And so kids don't just live in homes by themselves. So are you giving this money to the parents to then go out and put a down payment on a home? Are you buying a home and providing a family that needs somewhere to live? Like, I'm going to need a little bit more details on what this is. Okay, I understand that we just getting started and that's fine. So you ain't got to have all the answers, but we going to be expecting these answers eventually. It's a cute little idea, but I need to know where this money is going exactly, especially with the way that the Expo went. So, you know, they trying to shoot this commercial. Neither one of them are actors. Although you wouldn't know that with them being on this show, you guys. But bump. You know, finally on take 15, they get it. The promo is done. Marsau is proud. We finally get this conversation that Martell wanted to have with Marsau. And again, felt like a conversation that was just sort of like unnecessary and didn't resolve, fix, or I don't even know what it is that we trying to fix, child. Okay. But anyway, Martell sees Marsau. Marsau congratulates Martell on the new house that he's getting built. Martell says that Chris Fletcher is actually bugging him about the move, but Martell still don't have a place to live. So then at the mention of Chris's name, Marsau was just like, oh, you know, Chris felt a way about the whole Expo not being invited. And then, you know, our conversation that I had told Mel, you know, me and Chris had a conversation, and then he ran back and told Mel, him and his wife went and told Mel all of this stuff that I said, and just created this whole big mess. And Martell was just like, yeah, well, that's what he wanted to talk to Marsau about. Blatant disrespect. Now, right when Martell is about to get started with Marsau, then there's a phone call, and it is Chris. Okay, hey Chris, what's up? And Chris was just like, hey, I'm here. Okay, and Martell was just like, well, are you gonna come in or what you doing? He was just like, I'm out here putting this for sale sign. And Martell was just like, oh, for sale? Oh, I thought you said that it was already sold. I was just like, I thought the same thing, Martell. Chris, would you like to explain to us why is it that you're putting a for sale sign out when you just told Martell a month ago that he needed to move 2 weeks later because you already sold the house and the people was ready to move in? The house ain't even sold. Okay, like, what is Chris on? All right, so that's probably why Martell didn't even think that Chris wasn't taking Chris seriously, because Martell must have known that the house wasn't sold yet. And so that's probably why Martell was just like, psh, nigga, go on somewhere, okay? But whatever, Chris, yeah, he put the sign out there, and then he come on in and he sit down, all right? I said, do we need to introduce you and Marsau again, considering you guys keep acting like y'all don't know each other? They still talking about the Expo, Marsau not paying anybody to come in and talk about their t-shirt business. He just still feels like the fact that they have a platform is the reason why their businesses are busy, and that why they have been successful. But that doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen for the other people. So of course Martell feels like Marsau is full of shit and that he doesn't respect their business. And Marsau was just like, I don't think that these people need to hear about a whole bunch of successes, but never hear about failures. And Martell was just like, well, I mean, really, we didn't really have any failures. Okay, the business went well when we were doing it. And so then Marsau and Martell is arguing back and forth. Marsau is just like, it's your tone is what's going to create this fight. So, they're arguing back and forth. Martell wants Marsau to understand that him and Mel came in as a favor to them to help them, that it was like a present. And Marsau was just like, I never looked at our being business partners together as a gift. I didn't think that you were coming in to help me. I thought that we were working together. And like with the money, like you ain't gave me no money. And Martell was like, because you said you didn't need no money. He was like, because we didn't need no money. That's my whole point. We're not saying that I needed you to do anything. We decided to go in as a partnership. And so then I started to kind of understand what Marsau was trying to say too, right? Let Martell tell it. Martell is just like, no, me and Mel is the reason why that business did well. We did everything, and you and Letitia were there to just learn. I would like to think that everybody learned from each other. See, that's the thing that I was talking about last week with these male egos. You know, the egos are too big for anybody to admit that we all benefited from each other at that time. Okay, even if the business was kind of struggling or rocky before Melody and Martell came in, even when they came, you know, I'm sure that they all helped each other. So the fact that nobody now wants to say that, and now everybody is trying to make it seem like they already had it under control, then what the fuck did you guys go to get in a business together for in the first place then? If you guys both was doing fine, you know, talking about this bankruptcy and talking about money and all, if you was all doing okay, then you wouldn't have even talked to each other about creating a partnership. Well, that's not necessarily true. You would have talked to each other about a partnership if you saw that it was a benefit for both of you. That's a better way to put it. If it was a benefit for both of you guys, then you guys both would, you know, talk about being in this business. I'm just like listening to Martell and Marsau. I was just like, oh God, I'm so tired. I'm tired of the male egos. It's just, they're too big. So enough about the men. Lastly, Mel goes over to see Kiki. Okay, looks like Mel is the only one that is talking to Kiki at this point. I haven't seen Kiki. Has Kiki been in any other scenes with anybody? Oh, I think she was with Stormy. That was it. Okay. But Mel said that her and Kiki need to catch up. I was just like, how much catching up you need to do? Wasn't you just talking to her not too long ago? Because Mel didn't see Kiki at the baby reveal. You know, Kiki, I wanted to come, girl. You know I wanted to come, but I just did not feel good. And, you know, it just keep on happening. But you know I'm not going to just hide away. You know I'm not the kind to just hide my face. No, we already know that, Kiki. But, you know, Kiki was super sick, and she's gone back and forth to the doctors. But now I think she thinks that maybe, they might have gotten it. She's still been running all of these tests with the doctors. Mel was just like, well, girl, you know, I just want to know how you was doing. Because, you know, when you look good. So I'm just going to assume that you're feeling good. And Kiki was just like, you're right. I've been feeling really good. What about you? You know, what's going on? And, you know, Mel starts telling her about the town hall that they was, you know, had at the expo. And I was just like, I don't understand why Mel is telling Kiki about this, because it has nothing to do with Kiki. Kiki ain't got no business. I mean, if she does, she wasn't at the expo. She wasn't at the town hall. Nobody asked her to speak. She ain't had no conversation with none of the other people. Why are you telling her this, Mel? But Mel tells her about the tension between Stormy and Courtney. Okay, and Marsau, I'm sorry, with him. And, you know, Kiki was just like, oh, you know, speaking of Marsau. You know, Kiki had already said that Stormy had told her about the tension between the two of them. Something about Marsau asking for money. Mel was just like, yeah, she just didn't know that multi-millionaires would be asking, you know, would be going through all of this over just a little old measly $100. And, you know, Kiki was like, well, you know Marsau, he is facetious enough to think that, you know, that he's the smartest nigga in the room, basically. But Kiki is saying that Marsau has changed. She said, you know, the success that Marsau used to have compared to his success now is different. She was just like, now she sees that Marsau has disregard for other people, that he's rude to other people, that he doesn't seem to care about how other people feel. You know, he just kind of says whatever he wants to say. He's an asshole. But when you turn around and say it about him, then he don't like that. Okay, but Kiki got one good for Mel, some extra gossip that she done found out about Marsau. Okay, and you know Mel, right? Gonna act like she don't want to know, but she listening. Well, what's going on with you and Letitia? Are y'all in a better place? And she was just like, no. As a matter of fact, you know, she found out that Marsau went and had a threesome with beep, 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 beep. We didn't hear who the name was. Okay. But apparently Marsau was at a place and these girls was there, and, you know, one of them went up to Marsau and they, you know, I guess they propositioned them, and then they decided to have a threesome. And, you know, of course, Mel was just like, I was just like, ooh, Mel, you was sucking in this gossip, right? I was like, that Marsau, you know, every season something come up about Marsau and some woman. I'm going to say it because I've said it every time these things come up, until a person pops up and gives me proof. Y'all still ain't got no proof on Marsau. I'm going to need to see the person at this point. Okay, 6 seasons in and nothing has been confirmed. So I don't want to hear it. Y'all can leave in the comments, obviously, whatever you want to say. But I'm just like, y'all can go on and on about, Marsau, they just can't say their name and they this and they that and all. Child, whatever. I don't even care. I'm sure it's going on social media. Everybody probably talking about the two girls, who it was and all that. Y'all can all talk about that in the comments below, okay? But yeah, I'm just like, Marsau cheating is just such a tired story. What else can we talk about, y'all? All right, you guys, let me get on off of here, get these edited and up to you. Make sure that you thumbs up the video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do is in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.